owned slaves. George Washington owned slaves, oppressed black men, oppressed black women, and raped black little girls, and had babies by these black little girls that he raped. And most of the babies he raped, he would sell for kegs of molasses, whiskey, syrup, and rum, from plantation to goddamn plantation. George Washington raped black women. Thomas Jefferson raped black women. Sammy Hendrix was 13 years old. Raped black women, had babies by black women and black little girls. Jefferson, Washington, Jackson. As a matter of fact, if there was some materials that they're rape against us, that you could hardly find a cracker by the name of Jackson or Jefferson or Washington today. Name one to me off the top of your head. But you got Isaiah Washington, you got Denzel Washington, you got Samuel L. Jackson, you got the Jackson 5, and you got, but they know of so many damn black Jeffersons that they actually made a TV show called The Jeffersons. That's how notorious these no good bastards was amongst and upon our people. So I could never honor no day of my murder and my killings. Not one pseudo-humble Jew, white Jew, would ever honor a day if it honored Adolf Hitler. They wouldn't honor Hitler's day, or Goebbels' day, or Henry Himmler's day. So why in the hell would I honor George Washington's day? Nah, cracker, you got the wrong nigga this time. I'm not into that. Now, getting into the context of this whole dynamic of this terrorism that was waged against us in this particular phase of our dynamic. So Alexander the Greek, the freak, came in, began to establish this Greco reign in Kemet, where this terrorist cracker actually devised a plan that they will burn us out of civilization and existence. So they came in and they burned to the ground the Library of Thebes, as we call it, Watts, or Luxor, as they, the Greeks, of course, the freaks, call it the Alexandrian Library. Tried to burn us out of existence by this white terrorism. Then, according to the cracker scholars, they even say today that this burning and terrorist attack set their own civilization back by 10,000 years. These crackers said that they would have already gone to the moon, they said, had they had not burnt down to the ground the Library of Thebes, the Library of Watt, as they, the Greeks, the freaks, call it, the Alexandrian Library. So then we move forward to, in this Alexandrian Greco-Freako period of the Greeks, the freaks, where they came in and destroyed our way of life in Kemet through terrorism. And then the Ptolemy period began to take place. Then after that, it went into the Roman period of 30 BC, where the Romans began to get their piece of the action of destroying Kemet. And then we had Emperor Constantine, this no good bastard, 323 AD, he became the emperor, the Roman emperor, and the first Christian Roman emperor, which is a political strategy and move that the cracker made, because crackers are slick. An example, when we was on the plantation, okay, the crackers said, wait a minute, these folks are getting too close to getting free. So what we'll do is make them think they're free, which we're dealing with right now. And we'll still do the same goddamn thing that we're doing. So he had saw that this particular way of what they were calling Christianity was taking off, and he said, well, damn, I'm slick. I just say that I'm Christian. And that way I have them and the people too. But a cracker doesn't do anything unless they can control it. So he began to, through his white supremacist terrorism, terrorize that whole particular doctrine too. So in 325 AD, he had the Nicene Council, where they took the Torah, the Ketuvim or the Navi, the Bushra, or the Injil, as someone was calling it, and they begin to extract out of it, begin to detract from it, begin to subtract from it, and then begin to take Yahshua HaMashiach, Isa or Jesus, the Messiah, the black revolutionary Messiah. They begin to take him and turn him into a cracker, to replace him with Mithra, to replace him with Zeus, and then set this white supremacist psychological image in our minds, terrorizing us. And then it was in 391 AD that they said that all of the traditional cultural ways and spiritual way of life that some would call religion of Kemet is banned. That's it. And they came in and they terrorized the priests, chopped off the heads of the priests, burnt priests alive. They came in and terrorized women, men, and children, or anyone that was seen looking Kemetic, anyone that was seen wearing loose-fitting clothes, or sagging as they call it, were burnt alive, terrorized, and killed and murdered by these terrorist crackers. Then it came down to Theodosius, Emperor Theodosius, and it was 391 AD, that's the one who did the banning. Then in 527 AD, Justinian finished it off, and he closed down the last Kemetic temple and center of learning that we had there, and destroyed us and terrorized the Kemetic black line out of existence. This is written. This is the written terrorism by these crackers. Their history is written in terrorism. Their history is written in blood. So I can't do nothing but express the reality of the terrorism that we're facing. Then, after they did all this destruction to our Kemetic civilization, then we rose up again as Moors under the banner of Islam, freedom, justice, and equality. And when I say Islam, let's make no mistakes. I'm not talking about Al-Qaeda. I'm not talking about no CIA, white Arab assets. I'm not talking about no imposters like the Hyksos, no camel eating or camel urine drinking, no one who just learned how to roll a falafel yesterday, no freakish, pedophilic, but deep thumping, booty punching, fraudulent sham, and wine, pseudo humbug Muslim. I wish I might know goddamn Semite, pale white imposter era. When I say that, I'm talking about the nature of one who says I'm Muslim. I'm talking about the nature of a people. I'm talking about the nature of the indigenous man and the indigenous woman, the nature of the African, which literally means Islam, one at peace and harmony with all things, who submit their will to the Lord, to the will of God. A Muslim, one at peace and harmony with all things, who submit their will to the Lord and to the will of God. Wherever you go in the world and you study the indigenous people, we've never had systems of colonialism and supremacy. When you study our indigenous ways of life, we didn't have class systems. When you go inside of Kemet and Mesoamerica, we didn't have colonialism, imperialism, and class systems. We lived in communalism, where my house was your house, my land was your land, my food is your food. If you got some cement or some soil to make cement here, I got the water right here. If you got the fire, I got the bricks, I got the pots, I got the food, and we exchanged in that way, and that was communalism. This is the way we live since our existence, and for thousands and hundreds and millions of years before these no-good terrorist crackers rose up and destroyed that civilization that we had. We had African communalism, indigenous communalism before this cracker came amongst us. And it was that African communalism and indigenous communalism where the white man got socialism and communism. It's an extraction. So this is how it works out. So we get into our traditional ways of this communalism. Now, nature, at peace and harmony with all things. When you look at this dynamic, some of us even today still live like that. People call it primitive. That's disrespect. We live off the land. You can go inside the fields. You go inside certain areas of, let's say, Brazil, certain areas of even Venezuela, Ecuador, and these various places of Africa. You go in Ghana, you go to places in Nigeria, you go in Senegal, you go in Gambia, you go in Sudan, and you see us still living as a communal people. You see us sometimes we have on grass skirts, that's beautiful, because that's the kind of people we are. One dynamic in our ancient civilizations, depending on where we are, because being that we were at peace and harmony with the Creator and with all things, we didn't want to disturb a tree or a bush in order to live. We live around it. That's communalism. You protect the environment.